Well, good morning. We had 2 inches of rain last night, about 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning, and New Pond is full. Got a slight overflow going. Just going to follow it down real quick. Looking at the sediment pond here. I don't know if you remember when I came out here when it was running, the lily pads looked like a donut. It was just from the water being so much higher from the water gushing in. Some of the lily pads were underwater. Anyway, even at full capacity and overflowing, they're above, so it's good. I'm just going to try to show you, the water overflowing there. In the last video, I'd planted a lily pad over here, and it was underwater during the overflow, but a day later it was back on top. So I guess once the pond overflows to its true full position, the lily pad is back on top again. But it's got to hold its breath again because it's underwater currently. And this is a new one I just planted a couple of weeks ago. There's only, like, compared to that one I just showed you, this one only has like 4 leaves on it. But let's go look at our small overflow. Oh, and then we'll go look at the edge grass that I planted from that pond I went to. I got cows walking behind me. I think they think I got food coming to them. They're all following me. Anyway, I had a phone call, so I had to shut down. Anyway, we've got a nice little easy flow coming out. We'll just take a look at it real quick. You can see, hopefully you can see the water moving. Like I said, it would have been 2 inches of rain as full as it was. It would have been a pretty good gusher if I would have come out, but it was dark. But I'm still thinking we succeeded. All the water is being channeled down into the rocks there. Previously, on a big gusher, a lot of it was pluming out that way. So I put this little berm up. Anyway, on a light flow, it's working. I think in a heavy flow, it's working also, because I don't see any blowouts. So there's the rocks that keeps the erosion from happening. As you can see, we have ripples in there. You can see it moving, I hope. Anyway, and then I'm just going to look over here. I'd put this area here is where it was overflowing. So this area had a lot of erosion, so I just put a round bale here for the cows. So I think I've reversed any erosion going on. All right, well, let's look at we're gonna look at the plants that I planted a couple of weeks ago, or threw in the water. Before we do that though, you can see the debris line there. So that tells you at its highest flow how high the water was. So, you know, we've got a system where right over there's a sediment pond, and its intention is to clean the water, to put cleaner water in the pond. But you got to keep in mind, you know, you've got all this roof area, water's flowing down this way, so there's no checks here. You know, you got an oak and cedar kind of brick area in here. Water flowing through there is going to carry organic material here. So while we're catching it down this thing here, we still got the side flow. But this edge here is where I threw in the plants. And I'm going to zoom in here. This is the society garlic that I planted, and I was worried about whether the cows were going to eat it or not, but every time I come down here the plant's intact, so it looks like we're good with it. So I may plant more over here. But coming around the corner here, every time I came down here, that matted layer of plants that I planted was still green, but it's moved. I guess the water lifted it up and floated here. So we're just going to let it do what it's going to do. I mean, as you can see, there's still plenty of green there. All it's got to do is stay alive and get a root in the ground, and I think we'll be good. It's kind of a cool view from over here. Anyway, I'm gonna pan left, and you can see that's the terrace area. That's the area that I want plants growing up the fence, where the fence is invisible. Above that is where I've got the parking for my equipment, and then above that is where I've got the wildflower meadow. And where the wildflower meadow was planted, it was a giant hugel, and then next to the hugel was where I had all the equipment parked. So I backed it up against the terrace, and I am trying to sell a lot of this stuff, and I got a lot of it gone, but I mean, some of the stuff I've got to keep. And then I'm gonna pan out over here. It's kind of a real world thing with you know, they talk about zone 1 through zone 7 gardening, and zone 1 being next to your house. Anyway, so I got 2 trees here that I planted, but they're not being maintained. There's no water. Well, I guess there's a water source here, but for probably these have been planted since the pond was planted. Actually, they were relocated. One of them was actually in the pond area, so they were relocated, but they just weren't maintained. They were stuck in the ground and nothing else happened. I think the one over here is a apple tree, and that one's a peach tree, but looks like they're done. So I'm really just focusing on the terrace. Since I brought water into the terrace, I'm focusing on my trees in there, just because I can take care of them better. I mean, if I've got 20 trees in 20 different locations on the land, and trying to get water to them by hauling, you know, maybe I got an IBC tote on a trailer that I haul out there to just gravity feed or gravity water them. Anyway, it hasn't worked. I have had successes like jujube. I mean, I planted it, didn't do nothing, and it grew. So that was a learning experience of planting the stuff that can take our harsh environment. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today. I'm going to show you, I guess I'll close out with the impeding encroachment. I mean, back to, this is on a different part of my property, but there's all the houses. They're going to come down the hill all the way to my property line there. So it's coming at some point. Anyway, y'all be good.